All right, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the whole elect. All right, back to the Spirit and Power, Yahweh Shem Shai, with another various articles. All right, we're going to start here. It says Microsoft ventures into digital payments and CBDCs. All right, Microsoft ventures into digital payments and CBDCs. For those of you that don't know, CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. Okay, the key words being digital currency. All right, that is the doing away with all paper currency, whether it be dollar bills, pesos, euros, yen, whatever your current paper paper currency is, right, will be done away with, all right, as according to the new world order that Esau is trying to push, right? And they're going to try to make, or they're not going to try to, the Lord's going to allow them to take all the paper currency and make it all digital, okay? And in order for you to continue with your everyday lives and purchase things, food, necessary items, so on and so forth, that's the pressure they're going to put on you. If you want your money, money's here, but you have to go digital. In order to go digital, you have to implant yourself with our RFID microchip, and RFID stands for radio frequency identification. And these prophecies, which are for an appointed time, all right, according to Habakkuk chapter 2, these prophecies that I'm speaking of are according to the John the Revelator, the Apostle John, okay, which is written in the scriptures in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17 is what I'm referring to, all right, where John saw this future that we are now living out in real time. John saw the future, we're living it out in real time. We're in that time period of the great tribulation on this earth, known as Jacob's trouble. And we're also in the time period where the last ruling kingdom on this earth will be taken down, and afterwards will be the upcoming of the forever kingdom, which is the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of our lords, all right, Yahweh Shai, all right, our Lord and Savior, who is our big brother, okay? Let's continue with the article. Excuse me. It says Microsoft ventures into digital payments and CBDCs. Let's see what we have here. It says Microsoft collaborates with Aptos Labs to promote global Web3 adoption. Aptos Assistant introduced to simplify user onboarding into the Web3 ecosystem. Partnership to explore asset tokenization, digital payments. There we go. Digital payments, digital payments. They want everything with a swipe of your hand or an eyeball, a retinal scan or whatever they call it. All right, and maybe it could be also a case where your forehead, if it's implanted to your forehead, wherever the case may be. All right. Partnership to explore asset tokenization, digital payments, and what we just spoke about, CBDCs, which all these things go hand in hand one another, okay? Aptos to enhance security by running a validator nodes on Microsoft's Azure. As says, one of the tech titans, Microsoft is making its move. Known for its software and computing innovations, the tech mogul has now unveiled its latest venture into the uncharted territories of digital payments, blockchain, and central bank digital currencies. All right, you see? It says a partnership with Aptos Labs provides the launch pad for this ambitious dive into Web3 adoption, bridging the Web 2 to Web 3 chasm. While blockchain and decentralized technologies have carved a niche for themselves, their real-world adoption remains a challenge. Many potential users stand hesitantly at the edge, deterred by complexities. It says new users wade through daunting tasks, from understanding the personal benefits of blockchain to establishing digital wallets and decoding the transformation of traditional money into its crypto counterpart. All right. So going down says enter Aptos Assistant, a digital aid designed to guide users across this bridge, bridging the gap, so to speak. This isn't just a tool, also trying to make it they're pretty much trying to hit you with the pat on the head. All right, don't worry about it. We got it. We're going to smooth things over for you. We're going to not only bridge the gap, but we're going to walk you through and make it easy for you. Enter Aptos Assistant, a digital aid designed to guide users across this bridge. This isn't just a tool. There we go, case in point. It's a mediator, you see? It's a mediator. It says through this collaboration, Aptos Labs intends the assistant to simplify the convoluted Web3 landscape for both average internet users and organizations. Through this collaboration, Aptos Labs intends the assistant to simplify, you see, the convoluted Web3 landscape. All right, because not everybody is up game with digital world. Okay, all right. So for both average internet users and organizations, so they're going to cover all tracks, make it easy for everyone. All right, and that's the pat on the head. Users can pose queries in natural language, seeking insights about the Aptos blockchain ecosystem. Furthermore, developers, the architects of tomorrow's decentralized apps, will find the assistant directing them towards pertinent resources, ensuring they're well equipped for the task. For many, the coupling of artificial intelligence with the blockchain might seem a match made in tech heaven. Mo Shaikh or whatever, the driving force behind Aptos Labs, sees this fusion as the key to the next evolutionary leap for the internet. Meanwhile, Rashmi Misra of Microsoft notes the potential of such a combination to spawn revolutionary applications, streamlining user onboarding into Web3. All right, there's not much more here. Maybe we'll read it because I only have a few for you today. This is the financial frontier, asset tokenization, and CBDCs. Yet, there's more to this partnership than meets the eye. Aptos and Microsoft aren't just stopping at an intelligent assistant. The collaboration aims to push boundaries by delving into areas like asset tokenization and digital currencies. And delving is pretty much going to, digging, searching out information or whatever. Digger, searcher, seeker, whatever. Ventures that could... It says, the collaboration aims to push boundaries by delving into areas like asset tokenization and digital currencies, ventures that could redefine the very essence of modern financial systems. By offering solutions in these domains, they could potentially encourage a swifter, broader embrace on Web3 among financial service enterprises. Complementing this is Aptos' decision to run validator nodes on Microsoft's Azure, bolstering the dependability and fortification of the Aptos blockchain, a critical move given the rise of security concerns in today's digital landscape. The formidable minds at Aptos Labs have previously tackled daunting challenges in blockchain, successfully addressing them at significant scales, which I've noticed with all their technology, that everyone's reaching a bump in the road at some point. All right, but hey, it's technology, case in point. Their expertise, machines is what I wanted to say. Their expertise, combined with Microsoft's technological prowess, paints a picture of a dynamic alliance that is committed to the ideals of decentralization. This isn't just about technology, it's about potential. A potential to reshape our financial systems, to redefine how users engage with the digital realm, and to ensure that the promises of the future are accessible to all. All right, read one more time. It says, this isn't just about technology, it's about potential. The potential to reshape our financial systems, to redefine how users engage with the digital realm, and to ensure that the promises of the future are accessible to all, because they want everyone immersed in the digital technology and the technocracy world, and they want to make sure that it's easy, because the easier it is, the more people are like it, and the more people like it, the more they're going to use it and want to use it. All right, and just continue to fall down a deep hole with no rope. It says with which that ultimate pit is the RFID microchip. All right, the mandatory implementation of a device under your skin. Okay, which gives them full control over every aspect of your life. All right, because you will be controlled by that microchip. All right, how you might ask? Well, if someone controls your money, you make if you make $10,000 a month, but someone else is in control of your money, ultimately they have control over you, because you need your money. You have to pay your bills, you have to food or whatever else, right? Maybe you got babies, whatever the case may be. All right. So there you have it. Actually, we got a couple more, or one more. It says, with Microsoft venturing into the waters of digital payments and CBDCs, it's evident that the financial world is poised for a shakeup. And while the tech giant's intentions and outcomes remain to be scrutinized, one thing is clear: change is on the horizon. Yes, it is. Not because these devils say so or some article says so. It's because it's listed in the Holy Scriptures. It's all part of prophecy, and it's all part of the walk that the hopeful elect remnant have to go through. The rest of the world is just on the ride for that roller coaster ride, all right? But, All the world will be tried, through the hour of temptation, and the ones that matter the most are the hopeful elect remnant. All right, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah, we shall all be protected and shielded in those days, and given the spirit to deny this man and his devices. Right, because as the scriptures say, we are ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, lest he get an advantage of us, and unless you know what his devices are, you're more easily susceptible to fall under the trap of his devices. All right, so that's that. Actually, yeah, make sure that was it. Was this disclaimer? Okay, all right, so I'll grab it for you. This is from Cryptopolitan, and the headline was Microsoft ventures into digital payments and CBDCs. All right, so we grab the next article. All right, these next two articles actually weren't in my list, but I saw them as I was scrolling, trying to find my next article where it was. So I'm gonna grab this one real quick. What is this on my screen? Give me a second here. All right, so I'm gonna grab these next two. Starting with this one right here. It says Ruben Yap, CBDCs. All right, what we were just talking about, CBDCs let central banks control how people spend their money. All right, so we're gonna see what this article's talking about. See how much we got here. So we can be okay. Should be real brief. All right, so it says Firo co-founder Ruben Yap has warned that central bank digital currencies will be used by central banks to control how people spend their money. He remarked that CBDCs give central banks a lot of fine-grained control of how you should be spending your money. Yap continued, "To me, your money is your business. You should be free to spend your money as how you like it. It's your choice." You see, this is not what that's the spirit. This is not what I just talked about in the last article. And once you get this RFID microchip from the government, all right, which is issued by the international banking families, all right, giving out the order towards the government to do this, all right, and make it mandatory, and you take that microchip, all right, it's going to be game over for self-control in your life, all right, because they're going to have control over everything that especially dealing with, like we just mentioned, your currency, everything that falls from that. All right. Because they're going to, things are going to be here to still purchase certain things, but you're going to need digital currency to do so. And the only way to get digital currency is to take the RFID microchip. All right. So this is why I keep saying these things go hand in hand. All right. We got to be aware of these things. Okay. So, it says, your independence is a very key part of who we are. It's not for the state to tell us how we spend our money. According to the Malaysian co-founder of the privacy coin, CBDCs run contrary to how free market economies work. He also pointed out the potential for abuse, especially when people are only allowed to spend their money in recognized department stores, among others. Yap also noted how CBDCs can be used as a weapon against any political opposition. With governments having control of it, a CBDC can effectively cut off people's access to their funds to control dissent. This is the reason why there is an uptick in interest over privacy coins, even though many exchanges and government agencies are trying to ban them. All right, it says, excuse me, it says several countries already implementing CBDCs. All right, you gotta wake up and pay attention to these things. All right, it says CBDCs are no longer in the planning stage. Yeah, continue, as several countries have already implemented it. China has long used CBDCs, tying it with the social credit score. Yep, and that's going on right now. And China has been, doing a lot of digital things for a while. Sweden was one of the first places to even test out this technology, and there's other places. I mean, you see stores like recently the Whole Foods stores and all that kind of stuff. People are slowly going digital, right? Or not people, but everything is slowly going digital right in front of the people's eyes. Some people are just, blowing it away like a leaf, and others, they're just oblivious to it. Okay, and you don't want to be either one of those ones actually, but you most definitely don't want to be oblivious to what's going on, because it's going to hit you, like a freight train. All right, it's going to catch you by surprise if you're not paying attention. Right? It says, tying it with the social credit score over in Africa, Nigeria has adopted its own version called the eNaira. Right, and that's the first time I've heard of that. All right, it says the U.S. and the European Union are also mulling the use of CBDCs in the form of digital dollar and digital euro. There is a clear trend that we are going to see more of this, Yap said. All right, got some related. Brazil's CBDC pilot program allows government to freeze funds, adjust balances at will. If I wasn't going live, I'd probably click on it and check that out. But we're gonna, we're gonna just keep moving forward. It says while a CBDC may seem to be a convenience, especially when issuing relief funds, it could also be used to restrict or limit what people can buy. The CBDC essentially takes power away from banks and gives it to a central bank controlling the use of fiat money, which is the only legal tender in that country. All right, so you see how these devils have it all planned out, man. And they're just toying with the general population's minds. So the Firo co-founder noted that the privacy coins are one of the things that can answer or counter a CBDC, and that a privacy coin is the exact opposite of what a CBDC is, and a privacy coin will not last. All right, everything will be digital. There may be different, digital banks, but everything will be. There's nothing that's going to counteract this when this thing is fully. Like there's no doubting that everything is digital now. Like all currency is digital now. There's going to be nothing that's going to combat this. Yeah, let's just jump down. What does it say? It says if CBDCs are private, why are they banning privacy coins? It's because they enable money laundering. You could read more on this yourself. There's probably something good in there. But I just want for time's sake, because these tend to go long. Not that I care it matters, but these various articles tend to go long. But it's all for awareness. Okay. So we're gonna see if we can play this video, and depending on how long it is, we might play the whole video. It says central bank digital currencies. Why you should be concerned. Okay, it's 10 minutes, so we may not watch
the whole thing. Hey, fam, I just wanted to say, if you like the content that we produce, please give us a like, subscribe, and also click that bell button because it really, really helps the channel grow and more people know about Firo. You might have noticed you have seen an uptick in interest in privacy coins, even with the many exchanges and regulations trying to ban privacy coins in particular. And there's a very clear reason why, and this is because of the rise of what we call CBDCs or central bank digital currencies. This is no longer, just in the planning stage. We are already seeing countries implementing it. Of course, I would say the most famous would be, China's CBDCs, right? It's actually really hard to try and just use cash in China anymore. But even in Europe, right, they already on their social media, they're already talking about their own Euro CBDC, and the US is already actively talking about their own CBDC, and in certain countries in Africa, they have, I think Nigeria has also implemented their CBDC. So CBDCs, they're not just something in the future. They are already coming, and they are already in implementation in several countries, and it's a clear trend that we are going to see more of this. So what is CBDC? Why are we so concerned about it, right? So right now, especially even like Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, he was saying, why do we need digital currency? Our currency is already digital, right? All the money in your bank, it doesn't, the vast majority of it doesn't exist in a physical form. It exists as an entry on the bank's ledger. To liken CBDCs to be just another form of digital currency actually sort of downplays the implications of what a CBDC can do. Unlike right now with a digital currency, the money that is held in your banks and whatnot, there's no central body that can control, block this money, block that. Of course, you have to instruct the bank to block it, right? It's not like a central body that can just switch a switch and just turn it off, right? And obviously banks are not going to be so keen to needlessly lock down their customers' funds, because people are going to run away from their bank and go to someone else. So there is kind of like a sort of decentralized nature to it, even though fiat money is centralized. But the CBDC takes that to the next level, because CBDCs are I would say like blockchain currencies like Ethereum and whatnot. They are programmable. And you will see that, what may seem very useful and, very like innocuous. Like, for example, let's say during COVID, right? We had all these delays and, giving all these incentives to people who needed food, who needed stuff to buy their stuff. A CBDC might have helped there because they can say, all right, I'm going to give you like $300, but this $300 can only be used to spend on food. Obviously we know, we have friends that kind of misuse their, incentives, or we wouldn't say incentives, kind of like relief funds during the COVID period. And you might say, wow, that sounds good, right? That means now the government can give very targeted relief. But that also opens many, many doors, right? So first of all, say, oh yeah, okay, we're only going to give you this money that can be only used for food. But what happens if they start restricting what you can buy with it, right? Oh, okay, you cannot buy.
And that's crazy because I waited because I wanted to see what he was going to say, but I was going to stop the video because I was going to mention that. All right, exactly what he just said, restricting what you can buy with it. And what came to mind is talking about the I forget what it's called right now, but they're trying to give have people sign up, and they're going to give you free funds every month, right? Free funds, because money is still paper right now. So you just sign up for the program. They give you a such and such, X amount of money, reloadable every month, and you can spend it on whatever you want. And so the thing is, once things go digital, people are going to be so wrapped up because they're so used to getting handouts. All right. A lot of times, especially people who don't even need it, they go for it, and then you get hooked to it. So when things go digital, you're going to get so used to having this currency come in every single month. And so you're going to easily be persuaded to go digital, and you're going to continue getting your funds, but it's all going to be digital. Maybe still be on the card, however it works. I don't know. But eventually they're going to have you most definitely switch over to the RFID microchip into your hand. All right. And so everything's going to go digital. You're going to take the RFID microchip, and then they can restrict what you buy. All right. And so or even if they do it another way around, either way, you still very, very subtly have fallen into a very deep trap, because now you are dependent on your government. Woe to them to go down to Egypt for help. You depend on your government, and your government does not have your best interests at hand. All right. They only want to achieve the agenda of the wicked elite, which is the issuance of the RFID microchip, which gives them that little small 1% or whatever they want to call themselves, 5%, 1%, doesn't matter. Those wicked elite banking families gives them control and slaves, right? Like in the manner that they want them, and they think that's going to happen, and it's going to continue like that forever, because their inward thought is that the houses will continue forever, and that's what they want from you: perpetual slaves, even their own people. And they are very, very crafty. You cannot take these people for a joke. Stop taking your enemies for a joke. Stop thinking these nations are your friends. They're tricking you, and a lot of you people are going to fall into these traps because you are so wrapped up with money. And money's going to cause you to go digital, which means you're going to put yourself under the thumb of the elites. Let me continue playing this video.
Okay, pornography. Okay, maybe I can accept that, but it will expand further. Oh, by the way, we think, gaming is too much. You shouldn't be gaming more than a certain amount of hours. We can, of course, in China, there's already like limits to how much children can actually access like games and internet. So it gives the central bank a lot of fine-grained control of how you should be spending your money, which to me, your money is your business. That you should be free to spend your money as how you like it, right? It's your choice. It's your independence. It's a very key part of who we are. It's not for the state to tell us how we spend our money. That's not how free market economies work. And it can be abused, right? So just imagine saying, oh, you can only spend your money in large, these large recognized departmental stores or chains and whatnot, because, for some reason, they could always come up with that. And we know how powerful lobbyists are and how powerful narratives can be when they're being pushed on a very serious level by government. The other thing that is also even more insidious is that it can be used as a weapon, right? If you see any sort of political opposition, you can effectively lock it down. If you can cut people off from access to their funds and money, that is a way to control any sort of dissent, and we are already seeing it. And like for example, in China, there's this just to quote a very example of that, something that I'm familiar with. So there was this guy in China. His name is Su Xiaodong, and he's a bit of an ass. He's an MMA fighter, and he goes around.
I'm gonna stop it right there. I really want to listen to the rest of this, but because I don't want a bunch of unnecessary content just flowing. But I do urge you to go and watch this the rest of this video if you're interested. Um, we'll see. It says follow CryptoCult.news for more news about the CBDCs and privacy coin. It says watch Ruben Yap explaining why people should be concerned about the CBDC below. And I guess the video was titled Central Bank Digital Currencies. I think it said something like why you should be concerned, something like that. But if you're interested, by all means, try to find this link. And that this comes from Natural News. Ruben Yap, CBDCs let central banks control how people spend their money. All right, but for now, we're gonna leave it at that. I mean, hey, prophecies are they're moving along, and it's a beautiful thing, to have the eyes to actually see how they're moving along, because we know prophecy is moving, but to actually see all the little cog wheels that are turning, is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift from Yahweh Shema Shah and Tawada Yahweh Shema Shah, for giving us, this spirit of truth. We could say it like that. All right, this understanding of this world and this knowledge of the scriptures. All right, because knowledge and wisdom will be the stability of our times. Let's go and grab our next article. We're going to grab that next one that I saw. As a matter of fact, we'll just jump back. We don't have to pause right here because it should be right below. Look at this testimony. U.S. military maybe, what did that say? Maybe reverse engineering UFO technology to make new weapons. Man, get up out of here with that. Ain't no UFOs crash. I'm not even going to read that article. Probably something decent to read, but I'm not even going to read it. But this is the other one I want to grab. It says, of course, WorldCoin will permit governments and private firms across the globe to use its World ID system. That was the plan all along. All right, we'll see if we can jump into this real quick. This one also has a video. All right, so there's a little content here. We'll start from the top. It says, WorldCoin will permit governments and private companies across the globe to use its World ID system, according to a senior company executive. Ricardo Maciera, general manager at for Europe at Tools for Humanity, TFH, confirmed the move in an interview with Reuters. It says he told the news outlet that WorldCoin is set to expand its operations by signing up more users and allowing other organizations to use its iris scanning and identity verifying technology. TFH is the company responsible for WorldCoin and the accompanying World ID system. All right. It says, we are on this mission of building the biggest financial and identity community that we can, Maciera emphasized. The idea is that as we build this infrastructure, we allow other third parties to use the technology. All right, come on. The TFH executive clarified that the companies, sorry, I lost my line. I'm sorry about that. All right, it says the TFH executive clarify that the company's primary focus is to establish an infrastructure that enables governments and other entities to implement digital identity systems, which is something that has been currently going on. They're trying to work up towards fully issuing digital identity systems. Okay. Which some of it is, like we mentioned earlier, the iris scanning technology, okay, and the matter of fact, and that was on the the top of this label here or article here, man. But yeah, the iris scanning technology, and there were some other versions of it, I believe, but I can't remember what the name was. But then you have the RFID microchip, and there's so many avenues to this technological world Esau's pushing. But it all leads back to him, all right? It all leads back to these banking families, right? All roads leads to Rome, as they say, okay? So it says, for instance, companies could employ WorldCoin's technology to ensure a fair distribution of services, like providing one free coffee to each customer without collecting personal data. All right, it says WorldCoin also committed to making its iris scanning device, known as the Chrome Orb, in open source in the future, according to Massiera. This will enable others to contribute to the technology and utilize it to benefit their own communities. He told Reuters, anyone can, in the future, build their own orb and use it to benefit the community that it's aiming for. Wow. It says WorldCoin be set with privacy issues since its launch. All right. Privacy issue. We don't really need to read into the privacy issues. What I do want to do is to jump down, because I saw, here it is. Yeah, that video is a video. Depending on how long it is, we may play the whole thing. If not, we just want to watch it. But it says, watch this video about WorldCoin, about how WorldCoin will likely be a tool to control the world. All right, so let's go and play that at 3 minutes. Cool.
If you're a poor person from a third world country, I have an incredible opportunity for you. You look into this orb so I can harvest immutable biometric data from your eye holes. It doesn't hurt, I promise. In exchange, I give you some rich dudes in San Francisco created out of thin air with zero economic effort. It's called WorldCoin, and its goal is to scan 1 billion eyeballs over the next few years to create a global identity platform and payment network. And no, this isn't the plot of a Black Mirror episode. It's a real project that just raised $115 million and already has over 1 million users. It's co-founded by the benevolent AI king Sam Altman and is backed by a bunch of VCs like Andreessen Horowitz, which is behind many other crypto projects like Alchemy, Coinbase, and Solana. And even Sam Bankman-Fried is an early investor. In fact, you may have already seen people wearing these WorldCoin t-shirts, walking around your village, putting these weird balls in people's faces. These are your friendly WorldCoin operators, and every time they scan an eyeball, they get some crypto. It's an ingenious business model. It has all the same Ponzi-nomics of your favorite cryptocurrencies, but is hacking humans to do the actual physical labor of collecting and processing biometric data. The way it works is it takes a bunch of images of your iris, which, like a fingerprint, is unique to every human, which is then used to verify your personhood, so you can start using WorldCoin for everyday transactions. The actual images and biometric data itself is deleted from the orb, so there's no reason to worry about your privacy. The technology is actually quite transparent. They explain in great detail how the orb is manufactured, and some of the source code is available on GitHub. Ultimately, it's just a machine that can establish proof of personhood. But why would we need a proof of personhood protocol? Well, the main reason is the rise of artificial intelligence and the need to differentiate between man and machine. When it comes to financial systems, it can protect against Sybil attacks, which is named after a book about a lady with multiple personality disorder, where one person assumes the identity of multiple accounts to game the system. That can be a problem in crypto, but is not really an issue in traditional banking. The bigger problem is that AI tools like deepfakes and voice cloning can create digital clones of people from their internet presence. And that's why it's more important than ever that the people who run these AI companies provide us with a global digital passport to keep us safe from these AI monstrosities that they created. It's not about money, it's all about making the world a better place. The WorldCoin Foundation is the initial steward of the protocol, but is intended to become a public open source network owned by everybody, and it could potentially evolve into a global universal basic income, which we're definitely going to need after GPT-5 takes all our jobs for good. That sounds awesome, and I can't wait to just hang out all day and play video games, but WorldCoin has a long uphill battle ahead of itself. The MIT Technology Review released a scathing article last year that alleged deceptive marketing practices among a variety of other issues, and then you already have a black market emerging in China for iris data to exploit the WorldCoin system. The biggest issue, though, is that people are resistant to look into the orb. The orb is your friend. You must look into the orb. What's funny, though, is that most of us have already given up all of our facial biometric data to companies like Apple, Meta, and TikTok in a far less transparent way. After the orb verifies that you're a human, your identity is added to a list of verified humans. Then the WorldCoin app generates a zero-knowledge proof to prove your identity without revealing any of your secret information. In theory, you could be totally anonymous on WorldCoin, but many are skeptical and think it's just laying the groundwork for a world currency that will be implemented by the upcoming One World government after the alien invasion of 2027, at which point they'll no longer scan our eyeballs, but instead use far more reliable alien probes. Oh my god, I just cracked the code. You can't spell probe without orb. I could be wrong here, but just to be safe, I'm going to stick with Monero for all my anonymous crypto needs.
Doesn't matter how you play that game. It's a losing game. You won't win that game against Esau. All right, you fool around with any of their technology, their devices, or whatever, and you're gonna be casket ready, straightforward. All right, because the Lord is definitely gonna be watching you. All right, so yeah, and then talk about making the world. You want to make the world a better place. Why don't you open up your treasury to everyone on earth and stop trying to make everything digital? But you can't and you won't because you're wicked. Malachi 1:4, the border of wickedness. You white people, you so-called white people, you red, pale, pasty, devils, all right? You international banking families. You can't and you won't because you're wicked, and you think that you're going to just continue on in your wickedness forever, and the Lord's going to bring you down. Let me grab that because I started to let a few fly there. Let me grab the next article here. I don't know how important this is, or even if it is at all, but we're going to read it. All right, it says Putin approves series of legal amendments that could end online anonymity, curtail free speech, and stifle innovation. All right, so it says Russian President Vladimir Putin has enacted a series of legal amendments that could spell the end of online anonymity, curtail free speech, and stifle innovation. The amendments, officially titled Federal Law Number 406-FZ, were approved by Putin on July 31st and take effect immediately, with some provisions slated to come into force before Christmas 2023. The law requires individuals to provide verifiable proof of identification before gaining access to Russian online platforms as part of this crackdown on online anonymity. All right, foreign email systems such as Gmail and Apple are set to be banned with stringent measures slated to take effect by the end of this year. And, regardless whether it's America or Russia or whatever, they're all still Edomites at the end of the day. And so you see, here he is trying to get rid of people hiding their identity online, I guess, when they're searching certain things or uncovering certain information or whatever they're reading or looking into or whatever the case may be, whatever they're going online for, and they can no longer hide their what is it called, like their IP address or whatever and stuff like that. All right, so he's trying to make it so they can now, be found because you have to actually log in with your identification. All right, so it says the use of virtual private networks, VPNs, you see, there we go, remains permissible, but any content that promotes their use for evasion purposes is now considered a criminal act. Furthermore, the internet hosting services of Russia require state registration and adherence to strict guidelines. The Russian government seeks to enhance its customer service and security. Thus, hosting companies are now mandated to identify potential customers using approved procedures and are held accountable for the content on their platforms. These new regulations redefine the parameters of online engagement and underscore a significant shift in the cyber law of Russia. By September 2024, only companies listed on the state-managed register will be eligible for use by public entities, while computing power and information systems will be restricted. All right, it says newly approved laws threaten Russian online freedom. We're not Russian, so we can care less, but they may be Israelites in Russia, okay? Which is why I still wanted to read it anyways, because you never know. It says, let's grab right here. It says, while the VPN providers are not outright outlawed posting information online, the device's users are on circumventing the state-approved identification mechanisms using tools like VPNs or Tor will be deemed a criminal offense. This presents a chilling effect on discussions around privacy and tools to safeguard it. The legislation also brings hosting companies under strict government scrutiny. This threatens the independence of hosting services and exposes them to potential liability for the content posted by users on their platforms. The introduction of these amendments has raised alarm bells about the future of the Russian internet landscape. Critics argue that these measures could punish internet entrepreneurs to either fall in line with the government's agenda or leave the country altogether. Either fall in line with the government's agenda or leave the country altogether. All right, get with it or get gone. All right, the stifling of free speech and the invasive surveillance of online activities threaten to drive away innovators and investors. Furthermore, the laws extend to news aggregator platforms, potentially placing the freedom of the press under the government control. This aspect has sparked concerns about the erosion of journalistic independence and the government's ability to shape the narrative and information available to citizens. All right, so we're going to get into this video real quick, depending on how long it is. Of course, we're going to play it all. And if not, we're just going to get a snippet of it. It says how Orwellian surveillance looks like. All right, 12 minutes.
Hey everybody, Josh Saracen of World Alternative Media here, and I am here in Oxfordshire, where we
we see the first real examples of a 15-minute city being built around us. There's bollards that go up and down out of the street. There's low traffic neighborhoods, LTNs as they call them, and it's causing a big kerfuffle, I suppose you could say, because obviously the lead into the 15-minute cities is that indeed you won't be able to leave your neighborhood without permission and without credits and without your bank account, and they're just starting to really construct this around us, and it's becoming something that it's a hot button issue for a lot of people, and most people, though, they actually have no idea this is even happening, and that's one of the things I find most interesting here. The taxi drivers know about it. The average person does not know about it, and of course, what better than a university town in order to start something like this? We're seeing it happen all across the UK. We're seeing all over Europe. We see hundreds of cities that are signing on, but Oxford is the first place that they're really putting it into action. So we're walking around, we're looking at some of the examples of it, and right now I'm just off of Cowley Street in East Oxford, where it seems almost every side street has bollards on them stopping cars from going through. It's very interesting, so we're going to do some research here and see what we can bring you. Well, here's some irony. So I went and got a taxi, and because they weren't able to drive down one of the zero emission zone streets, they were forced to do a 10-minute drive instead of a 5-minute drive to get around it, multiple streets to get around. I mean, if it's about cutting down emissions, it seems kind of ironic that you then have to drive all around everything to get around one of those streets. Seems like more emissions, doesn't it? There are also very few parks to go to, considering it's all about green. You can't find a lot of green spaces. It's mostly for children at schools to use, so they're all locked off, and I'm stuck next to traffic talking to a camera. So most people don't recognize the dangers of this, and you show them the sensors in the road or the cameras or all that, and they've never noticed it before. And so luckily, even most of the students at Oxford University that I've talked to all agree that it's tyrannical and crazy and totalitarian, but they'd never heard of it until I explained it to them and I showed them it. That is very concerning going forward. So many ask, what is a 15-minute city or a 15-minute neighborhood or a 20-minute neighborhood? The idea is eventually, according to their own paperwork, that they will have neighborhoods where you won't be allowed to leave without permission from the government. And they've already talked about incentivizing this with carbon credits. We've already seen carbon credits be put on banking apps throughout the United Kingdom. Not mandatory yet, but it's always a big yet. But when will it be mandatory? That's a question. Essentially, they'll have bollards everywhere, and it will stop people from leaving their neighborhood without cameras, which I've gotten some footage of cameras today, which will identify license plates. It'll identify eventually faces, and it'll attach it to your carbon credit score. People wonder, well, why is the supply chain collapsing? Why is the energy grid collapsing? All by sabotage, of course. Why is the economy collapsing? Why are we going into a new economic reset all at the same time? Well, it's pretty clear. We see what's happening with the World War III scenario as well, obviously, and we see the demoralization of society. And how do you get there? You need the right crisis. So you have all these things happen at the same time, and then the solution. Well, the solution, of course, is things like, in order to save the planet and in order to conserve energy and in order to conserve food, we'll do rations, we'll do all this kind of stuff. And of course, you won't be allowed to move from one neighborhood to another with a car unless you have the appropriate permission, and that appropriate permission will be based on how much you already use your car. How much.
Man, immediately I thought of where is it? I think it's in Second Esdras, where it says that man will want to go to another city, just roughly paraphrasing, and will not be able to go. And this is why, man. All these little tiny measures that they're putting up, and the social credit score and all this other talking nonsense You see what these devils are doing, man. Their little dystopian society is going to be set up, and it's all going to be set up for Yahweh Shai to bring it down. Let's see what else he's talking, because he actually said quite a few things in here. If you were listening along, all right, let's continue playing.
With your credit card, what do you buy with your credit card? Does it cause pollution, quote unquote? Of course, this is coming from government, and government is the biggest polluter in the world, so it's obviously very ironic. But that's the idea. And here in Oxford, we're seeing the first real significant examples of this construct being built. We've been talking about it for years. We talked about climate lockdowns for years. We always knew that the COVID restrictions and the vax passes were a litmus test for something else, and we're seeing what that something else is now. We've been talking about the World Economic Forum's goal for this for a long time, going back many, many years. And of course, the World Economic Forum themselves were the ones that came up with the concept with, I believe, one professor who is now kind of leading the advisory to do this here in Oxford and multiple other places in the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. And there's so many other places. Obviously, we already see smart grids being put up in Amsterdam. We see similar things in Paris. They've banned domestic flights in France, except for to like the very south of France. You have to take a train, and there's train strikes all the time, so not very convenient, is it? What they plan to do is make it so convenient that everyone just gives up everything that they thought was near and dear to them.
Gotta follow, man. I mean, hey, you can't make this up, man. Everything's going to be convenient. This is what they want things to be for you: convenient, easy, smoothed over. Yes, some of the things they may offer may very well be helpful to you, all right? But you have to think of the latter end of your own actions if you fall to any of the traps given to you by this system being set up in play, okay? Doesn't matter how convenient something is, doesn't matter how easy something makes your life, or whatever the case may be. You cannot fall into the traps of the devil. We are not ignorant, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right.
Freedoms that they once thought they had, because tyranny comes under the guise of convenience. They'll make it very convenient so everyone goes along with it, just like tapping your credit card. It's a very cashless society in the United Kingdom right now, and more so in the south of England than in northern England, but nonetheless it's noticeable. Most places I go to only accept credit card, and this is going to become more and more of an issue where then you don't own your money. The bank, if your money's in the bank owns your money. You don't own the money. It's on loan. And if it's cashless, it's always going through the banking system, which means that you never hold your money, which means it's not yours.
Come on, man. You see this? We don't even know if he's a Jake and pale skin or Edomite. But do you hear what he's saying, though? All right? These are the same types of things similar to what, the prophet of the prophets have been saying, right? That have been set up by the Lord, starting from our apostles, Great Millstone on down, that like my umbrella, for years. And down to individuals like me who've not been around for a long time. But the Spirit has given me the truth to understand these things, all right? You will not own anything. And as a matter of fact, that's one of their sins, right? You will own nothing and be happy. And he also said that you will eat the bugs and be happy, right? You will own nothing and be happy, all right? What you have will be very, very minimalized, all right? Place to stay, possible transportation, if they don't, make a major shutdown on that or whatever. They want things that you own. They want your life as how I use the example for how like the big office buildings that have the cubicles. That's how they want your life. They want your life to be like a cubicle where you just sitting in this square space of existence under their control. And the money is digital, and I've said that once before. It's nothing but what? A bunch of numbers slapped into a computer screen. They're going to own everything. You're not going to be able to buy food. You're not going to be able, if you even have a vehicle, you're not going to be able to get gas. Okay. I think there was in China. I believe it was China or Korea, somewhere like that, where you needed to be scanned just to get into a gas station. You see, this is not a joke. It's not a game. All right. For people who are just non-believers or scoffing or just lost in La La Land out there in space, you better wake up. You Israelites. We don't care about the other nations. The other 17 nations don't matter. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, it is high time for you to wake up out of your sleep, because you do not want to get slammed by these devils when they come down with their great wrath. And boy, are they going to come down with great wrath, because it's given to them, under their power to do so by the Lord. He's bringing your enemies down upon you for judgment. You have to get right with the Lord now, because when that time comes and you're not covered, you're not covered by the Lord. Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and are safe. If you are not covered by that strong tower, which is the name of the Lord, by way of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, you are French toast, okay? We have to be more wise out here in our decision making, moving forward, and understand that where we are is not our rest. This is not your rest. Arise and depart. And that these people hate us, all right? And these other nations are our enemies. They have always been our enemies. They always will be our enemies. And they will be subjects in the kingdom of heaven, but we are not there yet. There's a terrible time that's coming on this earth that we have to go through, and you have to be, in the spirit to, even fathom the things that are going to be happening, because it says even the elect are going to be afraid, all right? And we don't know who the elect are. We hope and pray to be in the number. We are prisoners of hope, all right? But, you have to be more wise in your decision making, and this causes for critical thinking, and stop taking information like this for a joke, and understand that these things are very, very real, and they affect you on a very high level, whether you think so or not, and whether these things are affecting you now or not. Because even if they're not affecting you now, they will affect you later, because these things that are written in the scriptures will happen in and play out in real life, because they are all visions set for an appointed time. All right, I'm gonna play the rest of this video out and see what he's talking about.
Which means you are just getting loaned out money that they allow you to have on a daily basis. This is extremely dangerous. If you say something, if there's wrongthink, whatever it might be, well, good luck. You're not going to be able to access the things that you need. And so that will make a lot of people comply. And that is, I think, one of the most important points to make here, is that it's easy to get people to comply if you jangle some keys in front of them like a baby and you say, you want this? Well, you have to do this instead. You have to do this first.
You see? You see? What I say, if you want to continue buying things, all right, the mouths of the prophets, I've been telling you this. If you want to continue buying things, food, you women need hygiene items, you maybe have children, all right, whatever it is that you need that takes currency. Currency will no longer be paper formed. It will all be digital across the whole entire globe. It will be digital. So in order to get those things and purchase those things, you have to use digital currency. Well, how did I get digital currency? You fall into the trap by getting yourself implanted with the RFID microchip. You cannot get around the things that the Lord has set out in this earth for judgment, okay? All these plans that are set up by these devils are allotted to them by the Lord, because these things must need be in order for the kingdom of heaven to be established, and for Yahushua to return and take down all these wicked rulerships in this earth. Oh man, call her long, Yahushua.
So that is one of the issues that I'm trying to investigate here, because, I've talked to a lot of taxi drivers, and they're aware, and they're saying basically they're the only ones that will be allowed into certain areas. We already see bike-only areas everywhere, and people say, well, isn't that great? It means no pollution, blah, blah, blah. It's nice you can walk in the streets and have a coffee in the middle of the road. Of course, it's supposed to look fine and dandy and nice until it's attached to a credit score like China, when it's attached to your ability to basically access anything in society. You have to then comply. You see a lot of people riding back behind me on bikes. It's a huge part of the culture everywhere in the United Kingdom, and it's not just new. It's old, but it's becoming more and more so evident. It was very hard for me to get a taxi earlier, and you see cameras absolutely everywhere that are recording, in many cases, people's faces. There's facial recognition here, and people just walk right past it and don't think anything of it. But it's being constructed everywhere and fast. There's the low traffic neighborhoods where you can't drive over a certain time, and then if you do, you have to pay for it, so they're already getting ready in that way.
Sure.
We already see that in London as well. You have to pay essentially fines if you drive through an area at a certain time of day.
Wow.
And there's signs up everywhere for that there. It is very concerning, and it's very easy to basically lock down a place like Oxford in a 15-minute neighborhood, because there's a lot of small alleyways, a lot of small streets, and it's easy to build bollards, and it's easy to reroute traffic the way they want it to be. That is what they call the smart city. That is what they call the 15-minute neighborhood. So it's really interesting to watch on the ground how this is actually being put into place. And I'm going to keep trying to get more information on this as it develops. My friends, if you want to help support us, check out the links in the description for gogetfunding.com as we...
I see. So you see, like I said before, whether he's a pale-skinned Jake or he's actually an Edomite, people all over this earth, not everyone, small number, but some are actually starting to wake up and actually see what's going on in society, and they're understanding and they're realizing what is going on is not for our benefit. All right. So we go back up and grab this. This was Putin approves series of legal amendments that could end online anonymity, curtail free speech, and stifle innovation. So if you come here, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find that video down below. But for now, we're going to grab our next article. I believe there's only one or two. I believe there's only one. All right. This says, what's up with all the elites alien talk? Let's talk motive. All right. All the alien talk is one word: distraction. That's what it is about. It's distraction, because these old ass prune devils are terrified. All right, you see the shaking of the hand going on right now. This word, this gospel, this truth going out to the four winds of the earth, and it's going into the gates of the nobles, which are these wicked elite banking families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPont, so on and so forth, and they are terrified. And it talks about that in what it is? I believe it's it's either in Wisdom of Solomon or it's in Baruch, but it talks about them being terrified. All right, and that us being awakened again. All right, but this is what's going on. You see Israelites waking up, that exceeding great army. All right, faithful believers in our Lord and our Savior, the Heavenly Father Yahweh, and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shah, our true Lord and Savior. That dark-skinned man with white woolly hair and that beard, and these devils are terrified. All right, you think of space forces for what? It's to fight Yahushua, all right? It's to try to detect an incoming anomaly, okay, and prepare them, all right? Go ahead, do that. You wake up all your mighty men for war. What's that, Zephaniah 3? I believe it's 3 and 8. Wait for me to the day that I rise up to the praise, just roughly paraphrasing, all right? Because my determination is to gather the nations. Yeah, gather them all at once so He can fry them, cook them, right? All at once. And Lord willing, it's going to be a beautiful day for Lord Yahushua, because I know He's waiting for that revenge. All right, those that pierced Him shall see Him. Oh man, it's going to be terrible. Oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. You devils, man, you got a lot to pay for, and you other nations ain't innocent either. Let's get into this real quick. It says, I recently wrote a report for PJ Media speculating on the true motivations behind the elite media and swamp creatures' recent preoccupation with so-called unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, a government / media rebrand for whatever stupid reason away from UFO, as if unidentified objects in the sky and secretive military installations with zero transparency are some new development. Whistleblower. I'm not even going to play that video. Yeah, because it says there is still much secrecy and thus uncertainty, thanks in no small parts to the millions and millions of needlessly classified documents that protect the government from public scrutiny under the guise of national security. Well, now we understand that, yeah, the government may have tons and tons of paperwork and classified documents, but we now have the truth that it is not little green and gray men. All right, whatever classified documents they do have about so-called spacecrafts or UFOs, whatever you want to call them, they're all documented about angels. All right, the everyday people of their nation may not know, but the elites know, those banking families, they know that angels are piloting these vehicles, and they're starting to show themselves more and more and more and more. And one day they're going to come down, and they're going to, well, maybe they don't not even have to come down. Who knows? All right. But those chariots are going to start revealing themselves, and they're going to start to melt you niggas, man. Forgive me for, but call how long you like, how about Shema Shah, man? Because, whoo, like I just said a while ago, it's going to be a glorious day for Lord Yahweh Shah. All right, because we're gonna still be in terror, man. Because we're gonna, things are gonna be going on, and Lord willing, went up that number, we're gonna have to get beamed up first. But for Yahweh Shah, he's gonna get that revenge, and he's gonna do it all for the namesake of the Lord, the Heavenly Father Yahweh, because he's the one to be feared. He's the one where all these things are going down on this earth. His name has been forgotten, and he's going to put that remembrance back in everyone on this earth, and every knee is going to bow and confess the name of the Lord. All right, and Yahweh Shah is going to make them do it. All right, for the namesake of our Lord, Yahweh. All right, the Creator. Let's continue. It says, under the guise of national security, regarding the true nature of what the government knows and what technology it may or may not have pilfered through reverse engineering or of recovered alien spacecraft. See, that's the part of the bullshit. All right, these so-called UFOs do not crash. These are the chariots of the Lord, as the Bible says. All right, these are the chariots of the Lord, and in those chariots ride the angels. And these vehicles do not crash. They are not reverse engineering. All right, these people cannot get this type of technology. They have never had this type of technology, and they never will have this type of technology. All right. Now, laser beams, okay, they can create a laser beam. All right, but I mean all the outlandish, otherworldly capabilities of a so-called spacecraft or UFO or whatever, they will never have that technology. All right. It says, but what's for sure is that there's some agenda afoot beyond merely disclosing to the public what the government's been up to for decades. We can know this because the government and media despise the public and would never voluntarily expose it to the deeds done in the dark using public money. All right, it may be because they're trying to fool the people. All right, all these years they told you that, well, they're not actually told you, but they lied and say UFOs don't exist and aliens and green men don't exist, but yet you created a whole fake ass book of alien species just to smooth over the idea that people will fall into thinking that they are real. All right, when the whole time you may actually be wanting to just have everybody fooled and thinking that these chariots are just coming, to destroy which they are, everyone who's wicked. All right, but having everyone think that these are just some kind of invading enemies coming, and have everyone hate Yahweh Shah and hate the angels when they come. All right, and this may very well be part of their plot. And only other thing I can think is for them to just continue to keep you blindsided, because they want you melted anyways, because they know that's what's going to happen to them. And those of them that survive are going to be the first slaves for Yahweh Shah in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so it says, I believe that at least part of the reason is increased defense industry spending, as evidenced by Space Force's recent budget increase request. So that was not much else here. I just wanted to hit on that, see what was going. That's why I didn't grab the other article. Not much here. All right, so hey, it is what it is, man. And these devils are gonna continue lying, because that's who they are and that's what they do. And they know these chariots are coming to take their heads off, man. and it's going to happen in a mass number. And it's not going to be one by one by one. All right, it's going to be mass numbers after mass numbers after mass numbers, because you cannot fight against Yahweh Shah and the host of heavens. All right, the Lord's army. Okay, so that's going to be our last article. So this is another various articles. Lord willing, you were edified. Till next time, Yasharallah. Going to say shalom. Keep your faith, increase your faith, increase your faith, increase your faith. Be wise, stay circumspect. And just keep pushing. All right, we're almost home, but we're not home yet. Shalom.